to how much I was eating. Meals were often rushed affairs, quick bites between meetings, or grabbing a snack while watching TV. I rarely paused to appreciate the food in front of me or listen to my body's hunger and fullness signals. Adopting the habit of mindful eating changed my relationship with food and significantly improved my well being. Mindful eating is about being present during meals and savoring every bite. To start, I made a conscious effort to sit down for meals, even if it was just a quick snack. I turned off the TV, put my phone away, and created a calm environment. My focus shifted to the food in front of me, the colors, textures, and aromas. This practice turned eating into a sensory experience, and I began to truly appreciate the nourishment my food provided. One particularly transformative day was when I decided to prepare a simple meal from scratch. As I chopped vegetables and cooked them slowly, I noticed how calming the process was. When it was time to eat, I took my time, chewing slowly and tasting each flavor. That meal wasn't just sustenance, it was an act of self care. Another critical change was listening to my body. Instead of eating out of boredom or habit, I paused to ask myself if I was genuinely hungry. I also stopped eating the moment I felt satisfied rather than waiting until I was uncomfortably full. This small shift helped me feel lighter, more energetic, and less prone to post meal sluggishness. Mindful eating also revealed my emotional connection to food. I noticed that I often reached for snacks when I was stressed, tired, or upset. By paying attention to these triggers, I found healthier ways to cope, like journaling, meditating, or simply taking a walk. If you're looking to adopt mindful eating, start with one meal a day. Sit down, remove distractions, and truly focus on your food. Chew slowly, savor the flavors, and pay attention to your body's cues. You'll likely find that this habit not only improves your digestion, but also brings more joy and gratitude into your daily life. The next habit that had a profound impact on my life was decluttering. A cluttered space often leads to a cluttered mind, and I was no exception. My desk was piled high with papers. My closet was overflowing with clothes I hadn't worn in years, and my living room had become a dumping ground for random items. It was chaotic, and I didn't even realize how much it was affecting my mental state. I decided to tackle this head on by dedicating just 15 minutes a day to decluttering. I started small. My bedside table was the first target. I threw away old receipts, neatly stacked books, and wiped down the surface. The difference it made was incredible. That small, organized space brought me a surprising amount of peace. Encouraged by this, I moved on to larger areas. My closet was a daunting task, but I used the rule of thumb. If I hadn't worn it or used it in the past year, it had to go. Donating items gave me a sense of satisfaction, knowing they could bring joy to someone else. By the end of the week, my home felt lighter, brighter, and more inviting. One memorable moment was rediscovering a journal I had forgotten about while cleaning out a drawer. Reading through my old entries was like connecting with a past version of myself. It reminded me of how far I had come and renewed my commitment to personal growth. Decluttering isn't just about physical spaces. It's about creating room for clarity and calm. Whether it's your workspace, your wardrobe, or even your digital files, start small and tackle one area at a time. The mental clarity and sense of accomplishment you'll feel are worth the effort. Practicing gratitude was another habit that transformed my outlook on life. I'll admit, I used to focus more on what was wrong or missing in my life than on what was going well. But shifting my perspective to gratitude brought me a newfound sense of happiness and contentment. Each morning, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for. They didn't have to be grand. Sometimes it was as simple as a sunny day, a kind text from a friend, or a delicious cup of coffee. Over time, I noticed my mindset shifting. Instead of dwelling on challenges, I started noticing the little blessing scattered throughout my day. One particularly impactful moment was when I thanked a coworker for their help on a project. Their surprised yet delighted reaction made me realize how often we overlook opportunities to express gratitude to those around us. That day, I made it a point to verbally thank at least one person daily, whether it was a friend, family member, or even a stranger. Practicing gratitude taught me to look at life through a lens of abundance rather than scarcity. It's a simple habit that doesn't take much time, but has the power to shift your entire perspective. If you're looking to start, consider keeping a gratitude journal or setting a reminder to reflect on 3 things you're thankful for each day. The positive energy this habit creates is truly transformative. Finally, prioritizing sleep was the 7th habit that revolutionized my life. Like many people, I used to view sleep as expendable. Late nights binge watching shows or scrolling through my phone often took precedence over getting enough rest. I was constantly tired, irritable, and struggling to focus. When I decided to prioritize sleep, I started with small changes. I set a consistent bedtime and created a relaxing nighttime routine. This included dimming the lights, putting away screens an hour before bed, and reading a calming book instead. I also invested in a comfortable pillow and blackout curtains to create a more restful environment. One night, I remember lying in bed and feeling an overwhelming sense of calm. For the first time in years, I wasn't tossing and turning. I woke up the next morning feeling refreshed and ready to take on the day. That week, I noticed a significant improvement in my mood, energy levels, and productivity. Prioritizing sleep made me realize how essential rest is for overall well being. If you're struggling with sleep, start by establishing a consistent bedtime and creating a calming routine. Your body and mind will thank you. In just one week, these 7 habits, waking up early, daily exercise, journaling, mindful eating, decluttering, practicing gratitude, and prioritizing sleep, completely transformed my life. They helped me feel more energized, focused, and at peace with myself. The best part? These habits are practical and achievable for anyone willing to commit to small, consistent changes. Remember, transformation doesn't happen overnight. Start with one habit at a time and build from there. Your journey is unique, and every step you take towards self improvement is a victory worth celebrating. Modern life often feels like a never-ending race, where meals are hurried and screens dominate our attention. For the longest time, I was caught in this whirlwind, unaware of how much it was affecting my overall well-being. My meals were often rushed and distracted affairs, consumed while scrolling through my phone or multitasking on my laptop. It wasn't until I decided to try mindful eating for a week that I realized how profound this simple practice could be. Mindful eating is the art of fully engaging with the act of eating. It's about being present with your food, savoring each bite, and paying attention to how it affects both your body and mind. It encourages you to tune into your senses' flavors, textures, aromas, and even the emotions connected to eating. I decided to approach mindful eating with intention, starting by creating a dedicated space for my meals. I cleared my dining table, set a place just for myself, and removed all distractions. No phone, no laptop, and no TV. At first, it felt strange and almost awkward to sit quietly with my food. But as I took a few deep breaths to center myself, this ritual quickly became calming and grounding. From the very first meal, the experience was transformative. Foods that I had eaten countless times before suddenly revealed new dimensions of flavor. For instance, the crunch of fresh vegetables or the sweetness of ripe fruit became vividly pronounced. A simple slice of toast with avocado and a sprinkle of salt felt gourmet when I took the time to savor it. It was as though I had unlocked a hidden world of culinary delights. One of the most immediate benefits was how much more satisfied I felt after each meal. Eating slowly and mindfully gave my body the time it needed to signal when it was full, a stark contrast to my usual habit of overeating. I began noticing hunger and fullness cues that I had previously ignored. A particularly memorable experience was with a bowl of oatmeal, something I had eaten mindlessly for years. This time, I took small spoonfuls, savoring the creamy texture and the delicate sweetness of the honey I had drizzled on top. The entire meal became a moment of gratitude, setting a positive tone for the rest of my day. Mindful eating also brought a heightened awareness of how different foods affected me. Heavy, processed meals left me feeling sluggish and bloated, while fresh, whole foods provided energy and vitality. This realization didn't feel restrictive, but empowering, guiding me toward healthier choices naturally. Another profound aspect of mindful eating was recognizing the emotional triggers behind my eating habits. I discovered that I often reached for snacks out of boredom, stress, or a desire for comfort rather than genuine hunger. One evening, after dinner, I found myself craving something sweet. Instead of diving into dessert, I paused and asked myself if I was truly hungry or simply seeking a reward after a long day. Realizing it was the latter, I opted for a soothing cup of herbal tea instead. This small moment of awareness felt like a victory, reinforcing the idea that I had the power to choose my responses. As my week of mindful eating progressed, I noticed a ripple effect in other areas of my life. My digestion improved, my stress levels decreased, and I felt more in tune with my body. Mindful eating became a cornerstone of my daily routine, a practice I've continued to embrace well beyond that initial week. If you're curious about trying mindful eating, start small. Choose one meal a day to eat mindfully. Sit down without distractions. Take a few deep breaths and savor each bite. Pay attention to the flavors, textures, and how the food makes you feel. You might be surprised at how this simple shift can change your relationship with food and your overall well being. Alongside mindful eating, I decided to tackle another habit that had been negatively impacting my life: excessive screen time. In today's digital age, screens have become an almost inescapable part of our lives. I would often lose hours scrolling through social media, binge watching shows, or compulsively checking emails. This constant engagement left me feeling drained, distracted, and disconnected from the world around me. To reclaim my time and mental clarity, I set a boundary: no more than 1 hour of non work related screen time per day. At first, this change felt daunting. Screens had become my default way to fill any spare moment. The first thing I noticed was just how much extra time I had in my day. It was staggering to realize how many hours I had been pouring into mindless scrolling or watching videos. With this newfound time, I rediscovered old hobbies and explored new interests. I picked up a book that had been sitting on my shelf for months, started sketching again, and even tried my hand at baking. One evening, instead of watching TV after dinner, I went for a walk in the park. The crisp air, the rustling of leaves, and the rhythmic sound of my footsteps were invigorating. This simple act became a cherished part of my routine. Limiting screen time also had a profound impact on my sleep quality. Previously, I had a habit of scrolling through my phone in bed until I felt sleepy. This often left me feeling restless and wired, leading to poor sleep. By eliminating screens from my bedtime routine, I was able to wind down more effectively. I replaced my phone with a physical book, a bit of meditation, or journaling before bed. The result was deeper, more restful sleep, and a noticeable boost in my energy levels during the day. Without the constant barrage of news updates and social media comparisons, my mental health also improved. I felt less anxious and more present in my daily life. Conversations with loved ones became more meaningful, and I was able to engage fully with the world around me. Of course, there were moments of temptation and the occasional slip up, but each time I caught myself reaching for my phone out of habit, I gently reminded myself of the benefits I was experiencing and redirected my attention. Limiting screen time isn't about eliminating technology altogether, it's about creating a healthier balance. By being intentional with how we use screens, we can make space for more fulfilling activities and deeper connections. Both mindful eating and limiting screen time brought about significant changes in my life. These practices helped me reconnect with myself, prioritize my well being, and find joy in the simple, often overlooked moments of life. If you're looking for ways to enhance your well being, I encourage you to try these habits. Start with one meal a day or an hour less of screen time and notice how it feels. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Small, Consistent steps can lead to lasting, meaningful transformations. By embracing these practices, I've found a greater sense of balance, presence, and joy in my daily life, and I hope you will too.